Okay, Shio, welcome on YourPedia Education, and thanks a lot for giving your time and sharing your experiences here with us. Okay, Shio, before this interaction starts, I have already given your brief introduction to all of the students. And now, but I would like to ask my first question to you will be about you only. That Shio, please introduce yourself and tell something about you, academic journey, and what are you doing presently. Yeah.
So thanks a lot, sir, for giving me this opportunity to interact with you and your students. So basically, I have done my bachelor's in mechanical engineering from Chandigarh Punjab University. And after getting graduation, I joined GVK from a campus placement. I was working in a designing sector of turbine and in a thermal power plant. Later on, after a few years, I decided to go for my master's, and then I joined IISc. I did my master's there. And later on, I switched to industry, something related to cyclone modeling and renewable energy sector. So as of now, I'm working with the YourPedia Insight as a senior meteorologist and a data scientist.
Okay.
And my main focus is to digitize the whole renewable energy sector across the world. So as of now, this is my current domain. But prior to working with the YourPedia Insight, I was working with the Swiss Re. Swiss Re is a Switzerland-based company, and they are mostly into reinsurance company, and they do a lot of natural catastrophic modeling. For example, earthquakes, cyclones, hailstorms, wildfires. So when I was working with Swiss Re, I was mostly working with the R&D team and developing the cyclone and the hailstorm models for the financial purpose. So that is my short journey in the corporate industry till now.
Okay. Okay. So as you said, Shio, before you joined IISc Bangalore for masters, you were doing job somewhere. So how long did you do the job?
Sir, I did it for 2 years.
So what was that profile? In which profile were you working?
So basically, sir, I was working with a thermal power plant, and the plant was under construction stage, right? So there was a lot of learning because we study a lot about the rotary parts, designing, right? Steam, big turbines, forced draft fans. So I was into the mostly design review and the commissioning and direction of the whole plant, and then doing the testing and everything.
Okay, so Shio, this department which you chose in IISc Bangalore, Climate Science and Satellite Meteorology Department, this department was related to your job experience, or what was the reason you chose this department?
No, so basically, sir, the exact name of the department is COS, right? Center for Atmosphere and Ocean Science. So what happened, sir? While I was working, right, sir, with my job, right, I got a bit saturated, right? My learning curve flattened. So I decided to go for my master's. And fortunately, when I appeared for the GATE exam, my GATE score was pretty good. So I had options to choose. So then when I went to IISc for this course selection and all, I met few professors, right? So this department came under mechanical science. So I thought of going either to mechanical engineering or to the aerospace, right? But when I met with few professors and saw the course structure, the best thing I like about this department. So since my 12th standard, I have a strong interest in maths, fluid dynamics, and thermodynamics. So this department is basically when you deal with atmospheric science or the globe weather models and all, it requires a very intense knowledge of the fluid dynamics, your thermodynamics, and the maths, and also you need to develop a lot of computational skills because we need to run and simulate all the models in the supercomputer. So that was pretty fascinating with me, and that was aligning with my interest of my knowledge. So yes, there's a lot of background knowledge I needed, and that I got through my studying the mechanical engineering, and before that I was a lot of interest in physics, so I studied all those things. So, and also I wanted to learn how the satellite basically works, how their signal we can use, the radiative signal, the spectrums and all, right? So when I met with few professors, I decided I will go with this department. So it was very fascinating for me to learn all those new things.
Okay, Shio, I don't know I should say this or not, but atmospheric and ocean science department. Students believe that this department may not give them career, and it is interdisciplinary department. So their first choice is core branches like mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering. Then they go for this kind of department. So atmospheric and ocean sciences, you are the typical example where you were having opportunities and options to join any department because of your GATE rank, but still you chose this particular department. Now, how can we convince, as a mentor, as a teacher, I keep on telling them that if you put effort, like you said that fluid mechanics, thermodynamics is something which you are studying in this department also, the use of that. And the same thing you do in mechanical engineering also, thermal science also, and even same thing you are doing in energy science also, and aerospace also, you are using the same knowledge. Now, how as a mentor I can tell them that it is a very good department and you can make a really good career. Now I keep on telling them, but you are the typical example who has made the career out of it. So your words will have a value. So I want you to guide students and tell students in that particular direction.
So basically, like first thing is like we should always follow the passion, because when you want to sustain in a job industry, like or corporate industry, if you're doing something that you don't like to do, right, very soon you will get saturated. So for me, when I left my first job, right, I never intend to go back to my corporate industry very soon. So I wanted to learn new things, and with this department, I'm not saying any department is good or bad. I always thought I have learned enough of the mechanical engineering. It's going to get saturated very soon for me, for my learning. I was very much fascinated about like how this weather model works. It's a very intense computation things, and ECMWF, NOAA, NASA. I used to follow them a lot, right? So, and then also I wanted to develop a lot of computational knowledge. So a lot of model building, coding stuff, intense coding and all, right? So that was the opportunity. I thought, no, I can do something different and I can get out of my comfort zone, learn something I wanted. And regarding the career part, right? I mean, of course, see, when you entered some different department and leaving the core department, right? So right now, if I tell you my word, in India, mostly like mechanical, electrical, civil, right? These are the saturated department. You can get a lot of job, right? But you cannot get a very different profile of job. But when you do a master's or PhD, right, you have to stand different from the other people. Then only you can get the job, because when you enter into the IISc, right, getting a mediocre job is very easy, but your expectations are pretty high, right? So go with any department, but you have to develop those skills which are required by the industry. For my case, how I developed the career out of this department. So mostly in my department, there's a huge scope for the academics. I mean, COS in India is like undoubtedly one of the best department. They have the best faculties across the world, I would say, because they have all the people from the NASA, MIT, and all, right, all the big institutes. And if you want to pursue a PhD across the world in the best university, it's damn so easy to get admission. But if you want to jump into the industry, right, you have to find a real world problem. So from my first day, I wanted to build something, some product that a layman person can use it. For example, no, if I give you all the bits and pieces of the mobile, right, and you go and sell it to any person, no one is going to buy it, right? You can, and once you assemble a phone in such a manner that anyone can use it, that becomes a product. So from a day one, I had that intent that I have to convert my knowledge and expertise to in some sort of thing that actually people can get some advantage of that. So that's how, like, from my day, that's how I shortlisted my master's project and started filtering out the industry which want to do work in this domain, because everything is new, right? And we have to build a new market. It's a new era where we have to optimize the weather data over all the optimization we have already done. So in that manner, I think like there are a lot of opportunity in the market. If someone is passionate and they have the set of right skills in their portfolio, they can get a very amazing job in this sector, very highly paid jobs.
Okay, so Shio, when you did this your masters from this department, so the job which you got was through placement or out of the placement?
See, basically in department, industries visit, right, but not the core industry. Mostly for our domain, COS, my department usually intake very few students, almost in single digits. So almost no one goes for a campus placement. No one wants it basically. Most of them either go with the Ministry of Earth Science or IMD, right, or the NCMR, all the government research organization, or like 70% students opt for a PhD and they go abroad. So no one is interested in campus placement, but yes, there are a lot of company come visit campus, and you can, if you want interest to change the field and you want to move to data analytics and all, because in my department, you have exposure with a lot of computational stuff like in supercomputers and all. So you have all those skills. You can move to Goldman, JP Morgan and all. So these options is there, but no one prefers that, because if someone is coming to that department, they have a motive and passion to continue with their field. So opportunities are there, but I went through off campus.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now that is, since you went through off campus, Shio, that is really very good to understand and to know from you. how off-campus jobs can be explored. That is something where students actually are confused.
Right. So mostly when you apply for the off campus, right, and you have a specialization degree, right, like a master's or PhD, right, then we should not expect that we will get into the industry and then we will get the training, because that is for the bachelor and the campus placement, right? So first of all, when you apply for any job, just make sure, right, what are the job description JD you are reading. You should have all those in your profiles. You should know them, and from the day one, you should take the charge of your role. So when I applied to those only specific job where I have desired skills, and it was very easy to get the call then. I mean, when I smartly applied, I had all those skills. I was getting, in a week, I got 3-4 calls when I applied for the off-campus.
Shio, I beg your pardon, but I want you to be little more, express it little more, like what kind of profile you're talking about, and what kind of companies approached you.
Right, right.
If you can tell.
Initially, like, I mean, mostly like in India, when I try to figure out the real world problems, right, there are numerous real world problems. But the first thing that clicked to me is the renewable energy. Right? The most severe problem renewable energy is facing, because power you cannot store, right? You can have the battery, but battery is going to increase the cost by like 10 times or 20 times of all the renewable plants. And if due to a certain fluctuation of the solar or wind, right, the generation varies by 30 to 40%. And this 30 to 40%, if you convert it to the monetary loss, that can be $1 billion loss for the industry in India in a month.
Mm-hmm.
So first problem I defined in myself was to predict the real-time generation using the weather model and artificial intelligence, right? So for any plant across the India or the world, because there's a regulation, when you know how much you are going to produce in each minutes, then only you can plan how to consume it, because it's a power, you cannot store it, right? So to define that problem, I needed to learn a lot of weather modeling stuff, artificial intelligence, and how to use the real-time satellite data, how to combine them. And in the end product, the outcome should be a single value, that is what is the generation in the next 10 minutes or in next 1 hour, because that is what industry want. They don't want your complex models and supercomputer stuff. So this was the first skills I acquired during my master's. Even apart from the academics, that was my personal interest also. So I pursued in my free time, because we have all the resources in the lab and all. So when I applied through these things, I got good interest from the organization industries also, and I converted job in a week. So
okay.
yeah.
So this knowledge of artificial intelligence issue you acquired in IISc only, or out of IISc, and how you acquired it?
So in IISc, the best part is like that when I was doing my master's, I did my grad courses in 8 departments. So we are free to choose courses in as many as department. So in IISc, to build my foundation, I opted few courses in few department, went there, right, and opted like you can credit it or just go and attend it. So I did both things, right. And when I got the sense, right, what is the sense, how much is the maths you need to know and all. So my foundation started from there, and later on there are a lot of good online series and websites are there. You can take the real world problem and build your own models. So it was kind of a mixture, right. I started with IISc and then learned by myself.
Okay, so do you suggest to students to have these kind of skills like artificial intelligence, data science, and all these things?
Exactly. So in our field, right, whatever we learn, it's a core science thing.
Okay.
And if you go to the industry, right, they are useless to the end consumer, because end consumer want a product out of it. So for example, if I give you one very nice example, so nowadays Swiggy, Zomato, before this COVID, they were very popular. And just imagine, right, tonight it's going to rain very heavy from 4 to 10. Right? And they don't know, right? And all the restaurants have prepared in a bulk quantity, and they thought, no, we will get the same numbers of order and the delivery will be as smooth as in the previous day. And the moment it started rain, the whole traffic is choked up, right? The delivery guys are slow, they're less in the number, and a lot of food goes into waste, right? But if you use the historical data and the weather model data, right, and you take their data, how much they are going to prepare, consume, and all, and use the AI with the weather model, you can actually tell them and alert them in the afternoon, okay, today you have to prepare that much of food, that much of order, and that much of thing you can deliver. And just imagine if you combine over the Bangalore or Delhi, right, these losses are in the multiple of $1 million every day. So this kind of product, if you want to build and you want an end consumer to use it, you need to know AI apart from the basics, science of the weather. That applies for the Ola and Uber cab. If you see the moment there's any rain is going to happen, heavy rain, you see fare surge, you won't get any cab and all. So they can plan Ola and Uber can plan their transportation. If I have to go to airport or anywhere, I can plan those things, right? So to convert it to for end user, you need to have that data science and AI skills with you.
Okay, so Shiv, my next question to you is you after your masters you joined PhD also in IISc Bangalore itself, and you dropped it.
Right.
So what was the reason for that of joining and then dropping?
After doing my PhD, right, my mentor proposed me to go for a PhD in Max Planck. Max Planck is a very renowned university in Hamburg in Germany. So everything was clear, but my father's health was not pretty stable over that time. And my mentor, he was J. Srinivasan. He's a very renowned person in India. He was in NASA, and then he's a chief advisory of Ministry of Earth Science and Law. So he's a very senior guy, and he's also retired, right? And I only wanted to work with him. So then I thought, okay, the parents' health are not that bad, good. So I should stay here, and I can keep visiting my place. But I was seeing a saturation. Vijay, what happened when you study at some institute for 2 years, right? You know the system, right? And for a new challenge, you have to change the place. So I was not getting that mozo. My advisor was also retired, right? And I thought, right, a new place, a new change will bring a lot to me, right? Because I was so comfort in this place, right? And I was not learning new things, new challenges. So overall, this situation makes me to force me to make a challenging decision, because when I completed my first year in PhD, by God grace, like I was among the topper of the CGP and everything was so well, right? I got imperial scholarship from UK and all, right? Then I make a decision. No, I have to take a challenge. I have to move to the industry and let's solve a new, challenges and all those things. So at one very fine day, it was very impulsive decision. It was not well planned decision. So I remember on 13th of July 2017, I just decided I'm going to quit. So I quit on that day.
Okay. Adarsh, you earlier also you mentioned about that this department is one of the best department to pursue academics and higher education in India as well as abroad.
Yeah.
I would like to take your opinion if someone who is pursuing masters in India from this department and wants to pursue PhD abroad, what is the scope and how he can do that?
So getting a job is difficult than getting a good PhD in a top institute, because CUS has a lot of collaboration with the US universities.
Okay.
And the professors itself are alumni of the Stanford, right? And this you can say MIT and all. So they are from all top-notch university. They have a lot of collaborations. A lot of professors visit every year, and we have a collaboration with Imperial College, right? And all those things in UK. So if anybody want to go for the PhD, alumni are all over the world. It's so easy to get the PhD in the top institute that it takes a 15 days effort if you have a good academic record in the campus and your professor is happy with your work.
Okay.
So most of the students, basically from my department, they opt to go abroad for PhD.
Okay.
So that is like, because since when I was there, right, every week we have a conference call or some renowned professor from the Europe or US or from Japan, they visit our campus, right? A lot of interaction happens. Sometimes the scientists from the NASA. So interaction is so good, right? We can build our own connection with the professors and we can apply by the end of the master. So it's very good option.
Okay, Shio, I don't know, I should ask you this question or not, because you are in industry now, and though you joined PhD, you left it PhD also. But what answer will you give to a question of the student that whether I should go for PhD or I should join the job? What answer would you like to give to this?
PhD is something, you need a lot of commitment and a hunger should be there for the learning. Because if you're doing a PhD for the namesake, right, PhD is not going to give you any benefits. Because because during your PhD, if you have not learned a lot and you're not passionate, right, then the PhD will become a task for you, not an adventure. And once the things become task, it becomes too monotonous. So if you are very motivated to pursue and you have certain defined goal, I mean to say, you have a certain, you define your own research problem and be very focused on that, and you have a desperation to solve that problem, then I would definitely recommend anyone to go for a PhD. But if you're just doing a PhD because you don't have an option or you're not passionate or you just want to take a chance, then I will say take a step back, spend some time in industry, and still you feel you have that spark and motivation, then you can go for a PhD. Because joining one PhD and once you have completed 2-3 years, right, and then getting back to the industry, then you will be in a midway of something. You will lose a lot of time, then depression will happen. So I would always suggest to people, if you're passionate, then only go for a PhD. It's a big commitment.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Shio, I would like to ask you one more question, which directly comes from students. That sir, if we go for PhD and after long years, couple of years we spent and put effort, after this long effort, so what are the opportunities after that? I mean, do we have opportunities in industries also, or only in the academics? Because student wants to keep both the options.
So with this department, right? I mean, if you see the evolution, the technology development, right? Vijay, earlier, what happened, right? We don't have the big computational facilities. Right now, you have the cloud facilities, supercomputers become so cheap, right? So earlier, the weather data was not that significant. Right now, the weather data is so significant. If I will give you some of the name of the industry like Swiss Re, they are working with a big group of scientists from the weather field, almost like 50 people, right? Very highly paid. And they all are PhD from IIT Zurich and MIT because they were in my team. Munich Re, Aon, there are hundreds of companies. They have built their risk model using the weather scientists, right? So slowly, they maximum time they only hire postdoc or PhDs, but only if you are very good with your skill set. So in my opinion, if you do a PhD, right, with the coming time, as we are going to the further optimization of the losses, I told you that Ola, Uber, Swiggy, right, the opportunity in the industry are going to increase in the upcoming time, and it already started increasing because I have already worked with Indian Bangalore office of the Swiss Re, and I was shocked to see that a lot of work has been done, and I was not aware of that. So when I was working in a collaboration with my Zurich team or the US team, the New York team, then I saw their profile, right? They have done their PhD in 2000 or 2002 or 2003, and they are in industry since last 20 years. So definitely opportunities are there. And in the upcoming time, in my opinion, the opportunity in the academics are going to be a bit tougher and the lower because of the saturation impact, because you are not building academics new institute, new colleges every year. But in terms of the industry opportunity,
You're going to
every
have.
industry is trying to explore this domain. So I will give you a very nice example. It just clicked into my mind. So there's a company, it's in the Dubai and in the UK also. It's called Storm Geo, right? They help all this shipping industry to direct them that which way they should take to avoid the unnecessary wind or the turbulence. So they use a lot of weather data. If you see like ONGC and all, right, they have signed a contract with the SkyMet that they will give them the weather, when is the weather is good to have a continuous drilling of the oil taking, because once the wind is there, you have to just dismantle the whole system, come back to the shore, right, and then go back again. So this is happening, everywhere. Even now, even NTPC is trying to, penetrate this renewable energy. So they want this whole system in-house to set up the whole system. So they are looking for these kind of students also. So opportunities are now coming up in India across the world, I'm saying.
Okay, so that is there. Okay, Shio, can you please tell me some entrepreneurial opportunities after masters from this department?
Yes. So, first of all, the renewable energy problem, right? I mean, if you are good with your skills, right, and you can actually solve the radiation problem for the weather model. There are ten thousands of the solar farms in India. They are ready to pay for your service. You can provide them a service that this is my forecast, and you can use it, and you can plan your energy. The first part is that. Second part is agriculture. There are a lot of problems with the agriculture, right? For example, which crop farmer should sow. You can have the satellite data for the whole year of data. You can use the artificial intelligence to find out, okay, this year they are sowing this kind of crop. So to get the better pricing, this farmer should sow XYZ distribution of the crops. And also a lot of irrigation issues are there. So sometimes the farmer switch on their tube wells, do the irrigations and all, and next day it's a heavy rain. So you can give them a lot of alerts and all. So if I have to give one very nice example that happened in India, I will give you two examples. They started with a very small team with no funding and all. The first name is called Satsio, right? I mean, they are solving all the problem with the satellite data. And the second, you can see the SkyMet. Now it's a renowned weather services in India. It's a private entity, so they provide a lot of information to the news channel, to the farmers. They also, for example, if you see in the Delhi, right, the whole energy distribution is done by the private entity, right, the Reliance or the Tata as a discom, right? So someday, just imagine, right, it's a month of May, there's no monsoon, and you suddenly get a storm and a suddenly rainfall, western disturbance, right? And that day, the energy consumption is going to dip, right, by 50%. There's a very nice case study for Delhi. Someone can search in Google. And this discoms loses to 300 crores in a day, because they cannot predict that what is the humidity or the wind is going to be for the tomorrow, and it's going to rain and all, and they buy a big quantity of power because they have to pay advance and they have to book a slot. Okay, I want 5 gigawatt power for this many time for this many days for tomorrow. And if you can help them deciding, okay, with this much of humidity, temperature and wind, your energy demand will dip or increase, so you order that much energy, or otherwise you will lose. So this kind of problems, they can contact industries are open for the POCs. I have seen that a lot of industry are giving opportunity as a proof of concept. You go with your product, you give them a service for 1 or 2 months, and if your words are true and you can help them in save money, they are definitely going to buy your product, or you can start your services, and they can pay you for an annual basis, or like they can sign a long-term contract. So
Okay.
this kind of startups, and also one a nice import like the flood problem we have like a lot of flood problem. So you can build the river discharge and the rain combined, right, and give this information to the insurance industry. They will pay you. The second thing, like the biggest business opportunities is the agri insurance. If someone wants to start with a lease investment and just a basic knowledge. So what happens is that, like let's say right now in India, the agri insurance is penetrating, and you have a farm, it's in a very remote location, right? Suppose you have to claim that, okay, my crop got damaged and bank need to pay me back. What happens? You write application, they will send someone to your farms after many days, because they don't want to just invest money on his logistic just to visit your farms. He will come and he will visit whole area, so that they can do a cost optimization.
Okay.
And this is going to take 3-4 months sometime, right? And
Okay.
you have lost the whole season. Now what I suggest people to do, tie up with the bank, tie up with the farmer, and use the real-time satellite data.
Okay.
Something happens overnight. Let's say in Bengal, at one location, it rains 100 mm.
Okay.
And the banks or the insurance company has said, once it rains 100 mm overnight, we will immediately pay you the money.
Right.
The satellite should give the indication to the bank, this happened, this location, you just immediately release the money, so that they don't need to send the people to have no visuals, what happened or not. And farmer can get the immediately overnight payment, so that he can buy a new seeds, replant the whole farms and all. And so in that manner, insurance company can save their money, because they don't need to send their person to visit the farm, and farmer can get the overnight money. So this kind of technology startup we need in India, so that farmer can get the benefit of the satellite data, AI and all, right? How can we get the overnight money? And once farmer get the overnight money, he can replant all those things, and the whole season he was about to waste because of the lack of the money. Now he can utilize those parts.
That's right.
So this kind of things, startups, scope is there.
Great. Okay, Shiv, I would like to ask you one of the last questions, and that is which kind of industries a student can target out of the campus? I mean, what are some names which you can suggest which they can target, and what is the on an average package? The salary structure of these companies.
So first I will go with industry, then I will categorize the salary. So the biggest opportunity right now is with the insurance industry, because they have a big bank balance, right? They have the hundreds of billion turnover. So if I talk about the biggest in the world, is the Swiss Re. I was ex-employed to this company. They are the giant in the insurance company. So they provide insurance to the insurance company to all across the world. Okay. So they have a very, very nice opportunity. And I would say, for me, they have the best infrastructure and the education, or the whole development system, right? How they
so this company will hire students from this climate, atmospheric and ocean engineering, or what? I mean, all.
So they have like almost like, mostly 35-40,000 strength, and there is one division called NatCat modeling, that is called natural catastrophic modeling. Okay. So this is their R&D team, one of the main team that designs the model. Based on that, the other person write the business. Okay. So they usually don't visit the campus, because in most of the campus you will find 3-4 guys from this field only, right? So it's all every time it's off campus in India. Okay. So Swiss Re is like one of the best organization to work with.
So you need to apply in this company.
Yes. Okay. So Swiss Re has a very amazing team. I have worked with a very amazing guy across the world. I would say from the Carnegie Mellon to the Caltech to the MIT to the ETH Zurich, every kind of person you will interact. So the learning is so good, right? And they have a very good exposure. Apart from that, there's another company called Munich Re. They have also office in India. Then you have Aon, AIG, and apart from that, if you go abroad, if you go to the other company, there's a company called AIG Worldwide, and then there's one of the very famous NatCat modeling company, one of the biggest in the world just for the modeling, is called RMS, Risk Modeling Services. It's mainly a US company, and they have a very strong big office in Noida. So these are the big names, right, for this insurance sector. There are hundreds of companies, but I'm just saying the big names, right? I mean, they are good for the career, and if you're from the top college of India, definitely you can try your luck. And mostly, like, if it goes well, they have a very intense interview system because they want something from the student, because it's very your one mistake is going to make a loss of $1 billion for them. Because one mistake in the modeling, because every deal they sign it's a $1 billion deal across the world. One cyclone causes a loss of $10 billion or $25 billion in US, Japan, and all. So your one mistake is going to be can be very big and disaster for them. So the interview process is very rigorous and very interesting also. So this is a reinsurance sector. And after that, there are a lot of startups in India. For example, SkyMat, Satsio, Manikaran, Reconnect. They want to solve the problem of the energy sector. As of now, energy sector means the forecasting, you're scheduling the solar and the wind energy, right? How much energy you are going to generate, how much energy you can send it to other state if the requirement is here low, right? If your generation is going to shoot up and all. This kind of services they are providing. And also demand load forecasting, they're doing demand load forecasting. For example, I'm sitting in Bangalore, right? And how much energy the Bangalore distribution, that is Discom here, they should buy from the producers, for example, NTPC or the private NTPT, right? So entities. So these are the industry startups in India. And apart from that, after studying from this department, right, the data, because when you deal with the weather data, right, you are basically dealing with the big data. So you can also go with the data science positions, because one of my colleagues is also working as a investor model development for a Canada-based company. So he's working as a high frequency trader. So because you learn a lot of stats, maths, and computation. So those industries are there. Like you can go for JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs also. So if you want to have a different career, but if you want to stick with the things you have learned, the core knowledge, the insurance companies, all the big insurance company who do NatCat modeling, and the energy-based company, and the company who are dealing with the this satellite stuff like Satsio and all companies. And across the globe, there are hundreds of companies. I cannot just name them. And one more thing, like I'd say, there are a lot of opportunity with the government organization also. For example, in Pune, there are two institutes called IMD, Indian Meteorology Department, and IITM. So these two absorb almost 70 to 80 climate scientists every year. So they are under the central government. And then you have the Ministry of Earth Science. They have a direct opening. And one agency is under the government which do short-term forecasting for the whole India. It's called NCMRWF. So they have a pretty good strength, and they have got one of the biggest supercomputer in India. So these are the government opportunities they can apply there also.
Okay, so Shio, you have answered very nicely this question, but I have a related question that can a student apply for foreign-based companies, and how they should apply? I mean, if there's a company in Bangalore, or if there's a company in, let's say, Europe, how the students can apply? So direct mailing them or something like that?
So there are many portals, right? Like I will send you after a link after this call, right? They can subscribe to that portal. Across the world, this is a very famous portal. Any company wants to hire, or any professor wants to hire PhD, they post their requirement there. And if you have your requirements and your skills are matching, right? If the match is there, then definitely you can apply and you can get the call.
So can there be reverse engineering, like first student who is in first year, he should see that these are the requirements of this company and let's prepare for that.
And there are like certain common requirements are there. I mean, some specialization is there 10%, but 90% is like most of the common requirements are there. Like your skills should be with the weather model should be very strong. You should able to handle the complex binary files or the GRIF files. That is a newest form of file. Your coding skills should be very strong with the Python and the MATLAB. MATLAB is mostly paid, so Python is very much required. You should know the Fortran, and you should know the machine learning. If you know all these things, 90% you are ready to go into the industry to launch yourself.
Okay, great, great. So that is in any kind of industries related to this.
Yes, yes. Right now with the weather thing, 90% is covered here. 95%
Okay,
is
so
covered.
Shio, is there any also examples like a student in IISc doing masters get directly job appointment in foreign countries like US or something? Is
So
there?
mostly like people don't do that, but I got one opportunity with the Swiss company, and it went the whole thing went very smooth and all. And over that time, but that was a startup in Switzerland, and over that time I got opportunity with the Switzerland Bangalore office, so I decided to
Stay
stay.
here.
Yeah, it was a big opportunity for me because
Okay.
I mean, very few guys with the masters they got in this team. So
Acha, Shio, you are still to answer the question like what kind of package students
okay.
can expect? Yeah.
So the package varies from basically for after masters, right? What I have seen, it varies from depend on skill set from 10 to 35 to 40 lakhs in between that.
Okay. Okay. So depending upon the skill, they can get it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
something starting from the 10 lakh if it's a startup and they are not good paying and all company, and if it's a nice company and your skills are pretty good, you can get up to 30 to 40 or also 50 lakh. I've seen that. So
Okay, Shio, you other day before this interview, I was interacting with you, and you told me that you are handling some projects with some academicians. So, briefly, in 2-3 minutes, if you can tell what kind of projects you are handling with what professors or which institutes?
so
Yeah,
basically, no, as of now, I cannot disclose
yeah,
a lot of details because
obviously, obviously,
yeah.
obviously. Mm.
So mostly like what happened right now, even you see the accuracy of all the weather models, right? AI comes after the weather model when we
Okay.
have the nice weather data.
Mhm.
So it's still like the weather data because of the lot of lack of the ground informations or the observation data, right? And you
Mhm.
have limited satellites and lot of, and even for the weather we don't have a certain good defined physics equation. These
Mhm.
are like empirical equations because physics what we read in the books, right? It's a very theoretical thing. But when I talk about the, let's say, convection or the radiation from the surface, from the tree, from the water, right? It's very different and complex, right? So the accuracy of the weather model is very challenging for us, right? So right now we are doing a lot of data assimilation techniques, building those no techniques, and so that we can predict the wind and the solar radiation with a granularity of each every 5 minutes for the next 7 days in a very precisely. Sometime what happened at the same moment, let's say tomorrow at 2 p.m., right? Even for a 5 minute, there is a cloud, right? Your accuracy is going to be deteriorated by huge number and your clients are going to lose money. So every day we are doing a lot of research. How can we improve the weather model? How can we solve that problem? Because this is $1 million problem. If someone can solve the radiation or the wind problem, right, the industry is going to pay them millions of $1 million. Even
Mhm.
all this big organization across the NASA or
Mhm.
NOAA or ECM, they are struggling with this problem. So we try to improve every day by DX small steps. So that is the research problem we do every day apart from our day-to-day product builder.
Okay, Shio, my last question to you is now, since you have a couple of years in industries, can you precisely tell me how many years of industrial experience you have now?
So after my bachelor's, I worked for 2 years, and after my bachelor's, after my master's, it's almost 3 years of experience.
So 5 years industrial experience plus
Yes,
masters, right?
yes.
So where do you see Shio after a couple of years? I mean, 5 years. What are your plans? What you want to do after 5 years or 10 years or something like that? If you can
Yes.
reveal.
So
um,
I'm very much motivated what I'm doing, and
okay.
sometimes I work for 18 to 20 hours
Mm.
because I like what I do.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So mostly, as of now, I have some plans, right? I mean, apart from this corporate or professionally, of course, like I want to learn
Mm-hmm.
more about the modeling
Mm-hmm.
things,
Mm-hmm.
like the weather models, the new techniques, and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't set as a goal, right? I have to be the CEO or the CMD of the company.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to do, I'm building, I'm building some, this agri product, which I want to release it for free for the farmers, so that they can get the alerts when to irrigate or not in their phone, right, or in their SMS part, and also to collab with the insurance company so that no that they can, what I problem just mentioned, I'm all working on that problem also, that they can get their payout immediately. They don't need to go bank and wait for 3-4 months. And also their crop, what kind of crop they should sow in which season, in which quantity, and how should they do their risk management. So this is a product I have a plan to launch in next 2 or 3 years. Me and one of my friend is working on this. And apart from that, my biggest goal after cyclone modeling is like to digitize the renewable energy in such a manner that it become a lot profitable. We can switch from the this coal based or the nuclear plant to renewable energy, and hopefully next 5 years I want to have a global impact. I think I have a minor global impact. I mean, my built model has been used across the world as of now, but still it needs a lot of polish and refinement. So every day just my the same intention, right? What I built yesterday, the today, what I'm building today should be better than the yesterday one. So every
That
day
is what
yeah. So
sure, I am really thankful to you for giving your time, and whatever informations you have given, I'm very sure it will be very, very useful to the students. I will upload this our interaction on YouTube, and I will send you the link. And so students tend to ask some questions which are posted to you only on YouTube. So I will intimate you whenever you get the time. Please try to answer their questions also.
Sure, sir. And in case someone is genuinely interested, right, and all, they can have my mail ID. I will share with you.
Okay.
And I can actually, I will love to guide someone, because this is a very nice field. And I see a lot of scope, future, and this is something needed for the society also, for the betterment.
Yeah, another model where I would like you to help us is like all over India, in IITs, IISCs, this department, atmospheric and oceaneering department, IIT Madras, IISc Bangalore, and all these departments. So the students who are pursuing their masters in these departments, I will bring them on board. I mean, on the some Zoom meeting, and I will also put you on the board, and they can ask the question and you can answer their question. Something like that can be done. I think that will be wonderful, right?
Right. Perfect, sir.
Okay, sure. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks a lot, sir, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Nice day.